Everybody's asking where Aaron Rodgers is, what he's doing, what he's thinking, whether or not he's working. How about we talk about the other guy in that regard? Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Steelers. Comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into hockey and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates in the same place that you found this. Mason Rudolph's been working out on a field somewhere out west with wide receivers, with people catching passes. Posted some pictures of that the other day on his Instagram. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing before all the OTA activities begin here in Pittsburgh. That's, by the way, coming up later this month, if you can believe it. Not the portion that we reporters are permitted to cover. It's just when they actually start doing things in the facility as a group. Now, with the team having already introduced almost all of its free agent signings to us reporter types, actually had 5 of them in one day. I was over there for, headlined by DK Metcalf, Darius Slay, but also with Malik Harrison, Brandon Eccles, Kenneth Gainwell was there. And it was right then that I broke the news that Rudolph would be coming back to Pittsburgh. So it was either too late for him to be part of that, or the team didn't necessarily want him to be part of that, which I'd end up getting confirmed. The reason is exactly what you would expect. It's probably better for Mason to face the cameras and microphones after his role is at least reasonably defined. And that, I'm told, is how that's going to go. Which, and I'm not criticizing anybody over it. I think it actually makes sense. I think it's weird and honestly a waste of everybody's time if the only questions that he gets asked are, do you feel like you're the starter? Do you feel like you should be the starter? What would you do if Rodgers this or Rodgers that? But here's what I can tell you, and I've been in touch with him. He's working hard. His chin is high. His optimism about what he can do for the Steelers, what he hopes to be able to do for the Steelers, is at no less a level than the last time that he was here, in large part because of what happened the last time that he was here. To date, that's been the high point of his NFL career. To date, that's the most he could have enjoyed football and his teammates and the city of Pittsburgh and the singing of the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer at Acrisure Stadium and saving Christmas and all that other fun stuff. He's sky high over that. But he's also, and as you've known him to be, the consummate professional, just a total pro's pro. And whichever way the Steelers will go on this, he's going to put himself in the best possible position to be able to do that again. Now, we didn't talk about what I'm about to say here at all, because I really honestly don't care that much about what happened in Nashville. I feel like I've accumulated way too much knowledge about the 2024 Titans than I would ever need, in large part because Ramon Foster, who's part of our operation at DK Pittsburgh Sports, was working with the Titans themselves as part of their broadcasts, so he got to see a lot of that up close. And in Ramon's expert level observation, the Titans were ... parentheses, not good, end parentheses. And there's no quarterback, not Mason, not Will Levis, not anybody who was going to succeed with that kind of support. So you can pretty much take the good and the bad of how Mason did there, I think, and throw it out. And when I say throw out the good, I actually mean it, because in a lot of cases, the Titans were behind or way behind, so they were doing nothing but throwing the ball. So you might see some inflated yardage or even touchdown totals. That wouldn't be the case if those were competitive games. The beauty of what we witnessed about Mason in Pittsburgh the last time we saw him was that every single one of those was a competitive, relevant, get this team into the playoffs kind of game. And the one that I don't hear enough people talk about in hindsight and really didn't make enough of a deal out of it when it happened was the game in Seattle. All anybody had seen, heard, or read all week long leading up to the game against the Seahawks. Steelers never win when they go out west. The long flight, it'll kill them. The 12th man will drown them out. And there won't be any answers for this guy or for that guy. And there certainly won't be any for that DK Metcalf guy. So what Mason does is he goes out there, he teams up with George Pickens and wins the game. And of course does get the team into the playoffs. And that's the kind of stuff that he's been focused on ever since signing back with the Steelers. He's been focused on the things that were achieved, the things that were the positives, and what he hopes are more positives to come. We'll see how it plays out. I at least know where this dude's heart is when we come back. J1Q. Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George is a personal injury law firm in Western Pennsylvania that represents injured people in automobile accidents, workers' compensation cases, and medical malpractice claims. The attorneys at Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George pride themselves in doing what they say they're going to do. It's important to them that when they make you a promise, they keep that promise. And this law firm has been keeping promises for over 80 years. Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George has been AV rated. That's the highest rating a law firm can receive for legal ability and ethics. And the lawyers at the firm have been designated super lawyers, that's a real thing, for over 15 years. Rare combination there. Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George has offices in Cranberry, Newcastle, Beaver Falls, Butler, and Elwood City. Learn more about them at lgkg.com or by calling 888-842-5454. Again, that's 888-842-5454. Today's J1Q comes from Bob, who says, DK, why can't the Steelers win a Super Bowl in 2025? Depending on how this draft goes, and with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, they can be dangerous in the playoffs. Bob, you are 1,000% entitled to your view on this. Everybody is. And for anybody who's new to the conversation, I've had a stance now for quite a while that if you're bringing in a 42-year-old with pedigree, A, you're hoping for one good year out of him, and B, that year had better matter, and C, I don't know that this one will in that regard. Certainly not from the standpoint of contending for winning it all. And I don't want to, rain on anything here in mid-April. But when you look at, just say, the four teams that made the conference championships, could the Steelers beat any of those teams? Sure, they actually did beat one of them, Mike Williams' big catch in Landover. But are they competitive roster-wise with what we see in Kansas City or Buffalo? No. Are they competitive roster-wise with the team that actually did win it all in Philadelphia? No. I'm not being mean. I'm not being negative. I'm just, looking at what's there. But can they get in? Sure. Not a soul had the Commanders making it as far as they did. But one of the things that the Commanders had and have, and other teams, if you look around the league that have the young quarterbacks that are on the way up, the Texans, for example, jump out to me in that category because of C.J. Stroud, although they did take a step backward this past season. I see teams like that as being the ones that are more likely to make that move. Now, if you want to lay this out, like how can the Steelers become that team? My own stance on this is that they're going to have to do it without the quarterback who carries them to such status. And for a lot of people, that's a disqualifying opinion. Because for a lot of people, it's if you don't have Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or even a Jalen Hurts, you already don't have your pass to get in. You've been bounced at the door. I don't believe that because I've seen enough precedent over the years that if you have a really, really good defense and a capable symbiotic offense, you can do pretty much anything. What I mean by symbiotic is your defense benefits because your offense is on the field all the time. You can grind it out. You can do all of those Arthur Smith things, which, to keep making my point again and again, is why I like the idea of a Mason Rudolph, or certainly the version of Rudolph that we saw late in the 2023 season as being a perfect fit. That's not me saying that. That's coming from inside those four walls for the Smith system. Is the guy who hangs tough in the pocket, who steps up, sees the field, who hits his target, and, by the way, can chuck it. If you do that and you establish your power running game and your multiple tight end formations and your varying diverse routes to not one but two impact wide receivers now, yeah, stay on the field. Keep your defense fresh. Want to know how to keep your defense from getting gashed for 299 yards in the playoffs? Don't kill them over the final 5 weeks. But when Russell Wilson's out there going 3 and out constantly, they have to go right back on the field. Everyone's like, oh, what's wrong with the defense? They look like they're not giving an effort. Give me a break. It would take a lot, don't get me wrong here, to be sold on the idea that the Steelers are contending for a Super Bowl. But I'll tell you this, too. In the interest of full self-accountability, when they were 10-3, just this past season, I wasn't ruling anything out. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Steelers. We'll be back with another one of these on Monday.